Tonight on Mental Health Matters with Marty, the 12 Days of Christmas Mental Health Edition. Join us as we talk about coping and working through the anxieties from the holidays. Stay tuned.
Good news. Plenty good news, yeah, true. Good news. Plenty good news, yeah, true.
What's up, everybody? What's happening? What's happening? Y'all like that new intro? We had to do a little something for you, put a little stank on it for this 12 Days of Christmas. Welcome to Mental Health Matters with Marty, and joining me with my co-host, of course, none other than Thomas Davis. But listen, we are so glad you're on here tonight, and I am Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist. So listen, welcome to the show. What's up, King Joseph? Listen, let us know that you are out there. What's going on, everybody? Yes. Let us know you're out there. Where are you listening from? Listen, we want you to like and share. You know, Thomas had this amazing idea. He called me late Saturday night saying, I got this brilliant idea. Let's do the 12 Days of Christmas mental health style. That's what we're doing. From now till Christmas, we started on yesterday. If you did not hear us yesterday, you got to check out that edition of the show yesterday. We had some dynamic brothers on here talking about men's issues and what it's like and why we as men don't talk and what some of the things we are feeling during this Christmas, COVID Christmas holiday. But listen, yes, you like that track? That's right, Joseph. It came none other than my boy Brent Jones, and you know we know how to lay it down there. So listen, let us know you're out there. Who's listening? Where are you from? And what are you going through? We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your answers. That's right. Let us know what you are struggling with, what you are anxious about this Christmas, and how can we help? We got some great therapists on here tonight. But without any further ado, without any further ado, I want to bring on our resident specialist, none other, all the way from the cold DMV, and it's warm and sunny out here in Southern California, where the sun is always shining. Yes, come on, somebody, come on, from the cold DMV. Don't everybody put on your coat when come on, because he's just so chilly. Yes, none other than Thomas Davis himself.
Ice, baby.
Whatever.
What's up,
Thomas?
What's up, my brother? What's going on? What's
Nothing,
going
man.
on?
We just taking it one day at a time. We just get to one day at a time. How you like us? Horace, what's going on, man? How you feeling? Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. What's going on with you, Thomas, out in the DMV?
Man, it is good out here today. It's a little cold. You
Okay.
know, we are expecting some of that little white stuff to fall early in the morning. So, you know, everybody's out in the grocery store getting bread and eggs for rain.
Right. Paula, how you doing? I know. Listen, yes, I know I walked into that. I didn't mean to. After I said it, I was like, oh, snap. I just set him up for the perfect transition. But you know,
Marty, she's
yes,
a
sir.
Delta. She's a Delta.
We love y'all anyway.
Oh! Watch out
What's
for the
up,
comeback.
Justin?
What up? So, Marty, everybody is saying, a lot of our followers are like, yo, can we get on the show?
Of course. Justin, you're coming on. Reach out to top. Let's DM us. Let us know what day you're coming on. You're coming on this week.
He has, Horace has, everybody's like, yo, let's get on this show. So
Yes. Paula, we would love to have you on. Listen, I don't want you right. I don't. You know, I love our listening audience. Listen, they are so interactive. Trey,
What up, Trey? What up, Trey?
Yes. Trey, we trying to get Trey is. I promise you, Trey is Jamaican. He got 10 jobs, man, and he would call you a lazy lima bean because you know he just got 10 jobs because he trying to make sure we got a good Christmas out here. Love my boy Trey. We miss you, Trey, but we know you are handling your business. Trey is a hustler, and he is an example of what we don't see a lot of portrayed in our media is black men and our families working, doing everything we can to keep the family afloat, even in the midst of COVID, even in the midst of hard times, even when we want to quit. Listen, quitting is not an option.
Not one option.
Quitting, let me say it, quitting is not an option. To
None.
all of our listeners, do not quit. Keep pressing. In the midst of anxiety, I'm going to tell you like my grandmother would say, baby, hold them knees and keep walking.
Right.
Hold
right.
those knees and keep walking. Yes,
Right.
sir.
Marty, I must say, like, you really got us amped up with the intro. Hey.
Oh, you like that?
Hey.
Yeah. Gave you a little something. That's a little West Coast vibe.
I love it.
Yeah, plenty good.
I love it.
I love the song is called "Good News," written by my boy Brent Jones, because we need to hear some good news.
Good news.
And
I
on
agree.
that is my boy Snap Mike Burrell. That's right,
Okay,
Mike
okay.
Burrell. Come on, anyone in the industry knows you get any of them Burrells or any of them Pay singers, you got some slamming. Mike Burrell, he's the one who produced that gospel album
Nice.
for Snoop and everything. So it's got nothing but West Coast vibe, baby.
I love it.
Yes. We want to bring good news. 'Cause
Yes,
so
yes.
many people are going through. That's right, Trey. Quitting is not an option.
Nope.
And I was listening to, and it wasn't even my own podcast. I'm listening to other podcasts, man, and just trying to see where we can
Right.
find hope in this. And we
Right.
got to have the burn the boat mentality. What am I saying? I said, we have to stop looking for the plan B. We have to stop looking for the scared to put all our eggs in one basket. We have to burn the bridge, saying, listen, once I cross over this track, once I cross over this, I'm not looking back. So going back is not even an option. I'm not going back to where I came from. I'm not going back to the anxiety. I'm not going back to the pain. I'm not going back to the depression.
Right.
I'm going full steam ahead. I'm
All right.
amped today, my brother.
Let me cash out you an honorarium. You talking here already.
I was looking for it last night. You promised me one last night. Don't make me have to send the IRS after you.
Send them on. Send them on.
Send 'em. It don't even
Send 'em
matter,
on.
huh?
Don't even matter right now. It's COVID.
Yes, it is. It is. Thomas, what do you want to tell our listening audience? And listen, y'all, we need you to share this out. We're
Right.
grassroots. Nobody in here gets a paycheck. We do this because we
Right.
love what we do. So
Right.
what would you encourage our people today? Nehemiah, what's going on?
Hi, Nehemiah.
Yeah.
What up?
Yes,
King
yes.
Joseph said the intro was
Nehemiah,
dope.
yes, I
agree.
know, huh? So what would you encourage to our people today
Marty,
to stay hope? To how to stay
Marty,
hope?
let me tell you something. I'm
Okay.
just so excited. This is not a facade. This is not he's hiding behind how he feels. Today is a prime example for myself personally. I'm gonna do a quick personal testimony. So
Yes.
today we laid rest one of our uncles within my
Okay.
family.
Yes.
And he's out in Michigan. And as we know, last week they had 7,000 to 9,000 cases a day of
Right.
positive cases.
Right.
So we were not, as a family, able to go out and support
Right.
my family there.
Right.
So we had to stream it at home, and we
Yes.
had to look at the family, see our uncle laying there.
Right.
And one of the things that came to mind afterwards was like, wow, I feel very low because I'm not there with my family.
Uh-huh.
Fast forward to 7 o'clock. I was talking to the phone. I mean, on the phone with a friend of mine, and he was
Right.
like, "Are you going on the air tonight?" And I
Right.
was like, "You know what? My testimony is going to help somebody else."
That's
and
right.
what I want to share with the people tonight is, no matter what you got going on,
That's
you
it.
still gotta keep pushing forward.
That's it. That's
So this
it.
smile that you see is a genuine smile because
That's
my uncle
right.
would not want us at home crying and sobbing. We know he's gone, but
Yeah.
he's looking for what you're going to do.
Yes.
And
Man,
I just want to empower the people.
Yes.
Don't let what you got going on, don't let the separation, don't let the isolation, don't let the withdrawals keep you stuck. Accept it, reflect on it, and move forward. And let's rock this thing out.
That's right. That's right. So many of us have gone through deaths, and my condolences to your entire family.
Thank you.
I had to bury an aunt of mine. Portia, hello, darling.
Darling.
Hello, darling. How you bees? But in the midst of that, we have hope.
Right.
In that, and we can still mourn like those who, not as those
Right.
who don't have hope. We have hope
We
in
do.
that, and the fact that you could at least see it and you weren't there, and I'm sure your uncle would not want you to compromise your own health
Right.
just to be there. Listen,
Right.
Honor him that way, and however we can honor our loved ones during this
Right.
time, that
Right.
that definitely helps as well. So thank you
Right.
for sharing that.
Thank
and,
you for
and, and my
asking.
brother, whatever we can do, you have all of our listeners here. Whatever we can do to support you, our
Thank
love
you.
is coming your way to
Right.
your entire
Thank you.
family. Yes, yes. Love with horses. Always keep pushing forward. Always.
Never look back or never look back. Never look back.
Now
Never look back.
that's a singing one right here. Everyone's saying pull through condolences. Right,
Yes,
right.
thank
And
you.
to know that you have people like this, and some of these people a lot of them we
Right.
have never met in person, but
Right.
they have become our virtual family.
And we love them.
We love them, yes.
We do.
I can't wait till this pandemic is over. I can't wait to meet Trey. I can't wait to come down to ATL and hang out with Portia. Darling, I'm coming to your house with you and Pastor. I'm gonna kick back with the fire pit and drink coffee right along
Right.
with you with that. But
And I
that's
can't
what
wait
is
to
right.
meet Marty. I cannot wait
yes.
to meet Marty.
Wait
I
a
was
minute.
supposed to. I
Uh-huh.
was supposed to.
Wait a minute.
But I had a death.
Right. You've experienced several deaths and
A lot
during
of
this
loss.
time.
Mhm.
But right. But I love it that and we had been planning to all of us meet up and everything,
Yep.
but that something happened. But we still keep hope alive, and that's what we
That's
want
all we gotta do.
to encourage with others, because I much rather us stay apart so that we can live to see another day and
Right.
live to see another here. Yeah, I hear a live event in 2020. Come on, Portia, you're right.
As Marty say, y'all, speak up, speak out, and
live.
live.
Come on. Okay. I hear it. Yes. There's Mama. Miss Penny, how are you, darling?
Hey, Mom, love you.
Yes. Again, our condolences to the whole entire Davis family.
Thank you.
And extended family. We love you guys, definitely.
Thank you.
So listen, let's bring on our guest tonight. I'm going to introduce our first one. Listen, this brother is in the PA, Pennsylvania. Yes. And he is just doing his thing. Listen, talking about someone who's come through various struggles in life. His life is already a testimony, and his life to me, whenever this young man comes on, his life to me, that's right, bring to God be the glory. I know that's right. His life to me is this.
Yes.
Never give up.
Never.
Keep persevering. I don't care what happens in life. I don't care we don't give up. We give it with everything we have, with every fighting breath, because again, failure is not an option.
Not.
I don't fall back. I fail forward. Come on, because in failing forward, I'm still making progress. Come on, let the church say amen. Yes. And for those who are in the balcony and the speaker get kind of raggedy up there sometimes.
Right.
But listen, failing forward still means I'm moving in the
Yes.
right direction. Come on,
Yes.
somebody. But this young man he's in a class all by himself. He's an amazing therapist. He
Yes.
loves working with the kids in the school system and everything. But let's bring him on here. He about to get some snow tonight, but all the way from the PA, I believe Pittsburgh, right? Yes, Pittsburgh. Yes.
Steelers lost.
Hey, I don't rep the Steelers because I'm not from Pittsburgh, so I just live here.
You just lived there. What's going on, Johnny?
What's going on, y'all? It's like a reunion, the family reunion.
It always is with
But
you,
look,
man.
even though it's a family reunion, y'all could have gave me the memo. I could have worn my black suit.
See, what had happened was it was all Thomas's fault.
See? And Thomas is the one that hit me up this morning and say, "Can you get on tonight?"
Oh, there's my boy Sharon. Sharon said, "Go Steelers." What's up, Sharon? How you feeling, man? Man, I'm loving what you're doing out there, Sharon. You are doing your thing, man. Don't think I haven't been peeping your game, because I have. Keep doing what you're doing. That's another young brother. His story and his family story is amazing. So yes, Johnny, what you been up to? How's life treating you out there in the Pittsburgh?
Life is amazing. It's amazing. I think the last time I had talked to both of you, I had just got the call back to go back to work.
Yes.
So, 'cause I was, furloughed from March to
Right.
to the end of August, and I got the call to go back to work. And since then, I've, been working.
Come on, work.
Been working. Just been working.
Yeah, give me $20.
The accomplishments, a lot of accomplishments that came out of it.
Right.
I won like a lot of awards. The highest award I won was the Rising Star Award through Pitt School of Social Work. I got that in October.
Come on.
Also with my job, I got the Above and Beyond Call of Duty recognition
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I got the honor last month, but then they honored me again last week. So I'm
Wow.
like, all right, y'all giving me these honors back to back. So now I got a total of three just over there in my little space. I'm like, all right, I got three recognitions from the job. The job is loving me.
Yeah.
Also, right now we just got a new therapist because we just opened a new therapeutic classroom in another
Right,
school
right.
within Pittsburgh Public, and the new therapist started last week. And lo and behold, I've been his trainer. I've been training him and assisting him to get him, get the show on the road. Because
Right.
after Christmas break, he's gonna be on his own,
We live,
working with the
huh?
kids at the other
All
school.
right.
Congratulations. Well, Johnny, again, thank you for your example of
Yeah.
pressing through.
Yeah.
And even in the midst of a furlough or the possibility of different things, you still kept the quality and the excellence there. And that's what we have to do, yo. We don't give up when adversities get tough.
No.
We don't give up. We still do everything we know that's within us.
Yep.
And that's the right thing. You
And
keep pressing forward.
and you know what my push was this year too.
What's
Because
that?
at the start, even though with the whole pandemic happening and then the furlough happening, the birth of JG Mental Health Fridays came apart. So I've been doing JG Mental Health Fridays every Friday on
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, just talk about general topics that we all
Yes.
face, and coming up with different coping exercises that anyone can do, from a
Come
kid
on.
to an
Right.
older adult.
All
And
right.
just doing that, that's been my push this year, because I'm like, okay, when I was going through that furlough, I'm like, let me see if I could do something else to still help people. And JG,
Right.
God gave me the idea to say, you know what, do JG Mental Health Fridays. And that's been a push, this whole year. And then when I got rehired back to work in August, that's when I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep this going because it's reaching the masses. A lot of people have been, hitting me up saying, I love what you did on this video. Even
Yes.
teenagers like on social media will hit me up and say, I'm glad that you doing this to show people that anything is possible, and you're
Right.
talking about things that I'm actually really going through right now. So, thank you. And I'm just saying, I'm just doing it because I love, what I do. I love helping
That's
people.
right.
And
That's right.
that's what it's all about.
Marty, ain't it good to see the millennials out here doing their thing?
It's just good to see us
It's
out here
great.
doing it. Yes. And I love what you said, when things changed in your life, you didn't sit and pity yourself. You said,
Right.
now what can I do to develop? What have I
Exactly.
been wanting to do that I did not have the time to do before, but now I do? I'm not going to say what I can't do. I'm going
Right.
to strive and create things that I can do to propel me forward. Come on. Failure is not an option.
Not an option.
That's not an
That's
option.
the theme. That's the theme of the
Failure is
night.
not an Thomas, introduce our next guest in here too, so we can have this wonderful conversation.
So this young man is just a great brother. One of the things that he did something on December the 1st. I remember this day because I was sitting at home and he made a Facebook post. I'm not going to tell it. I'm going to let him tell it if he chooses to. But what I will say, he made a point and said, today I decided to ... And when I saw that post, it reminded me of myself. We as people, we always pouring out to everybody else, but sometimes we need people to pour into us.
Yes.
And one of the things that I want to share with our listening audience tonight that is watching us, what you see is what we talked about last night on the show. You got different generations that's about to hit the screen tonight, and all of us are doing something, and all of us have a story that can impact somebody else in somebody's life. Now, it doesn't matter if you're young, old, middle, season, whatever the case may be. This young man that I'm about to introduce is a great brother. He's out here with his sleeves rolled up. He's working in the field. He's from Ohio.
Come on, Big O.
In Texas. He's almost cool with me, but he's not a Dallas fan, but I'm going to let that slide. I want to bring on Mr. Terrence Tufts. He's going to come in right now. What's up, Terrence?
What's going on, everybody? Shout out to Martinez and Thomas for including me on the show once again. And you almost made me bust out laughing when you mentioned about the Dallas. I can't even say like the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, this season ain't my fault. That's all I'm gonna just say. But
we won't say anything about the Cowgirls. Cowboys.
Hey, Daryl, In the green room, please. I'm done.
Oh, come, you can't take a little heat. Come on, baby. This is what it's all about. Put on your big boy pants.
So how you doing, Terrence?
I'm doing pretty well. I can't complain. I'm alive, healthy, trying to get fit. So, that's all. Ain't much more I need beyond that. Now, I was about to point out something. It's ironic because, you mentioned Dallas Cowboys, and my man who was speaking before me is in Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
I'm low-key a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Ah.
So I think that's where it came from. But in any case, but yeah, like my little back story about me,
Yes.
reference. So yeah, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I went to Kent State University, first generation college student,
Yes.
graduate. My degree, bachelor's in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to Texas about 5 years ago to pursue a master's degree, which I obtained in 2018 for clinical mental health counseling. I'm currently an LPC associate. It used to be LPC intern, but the board recently changed it to kind of give it a more professional feel.
Yes. That's right.
And proud to say, I'm about nearly halfway through, combined hours altogether. And so, in reference to what Thomas was talking about earlier, I had around the beginning of this month, I decided to search for a therapist of my own.
Okay.
Because like you mentioned that, we spend so much time, pouring into people that sometimes we need someone to kind of pour into us sometimes. And being a therapist is not for the faint of heart. And you have to really kind of sit there with individuals who are hurting. They are going through some kind of, a lot of times, internal struggle, whether to manage their anxiety, their depression, their impulsivity. They might have family discord, and this is a whole rigmarole of mental or emotional health matters. So
right.
And I'm being that I'm a human being just like anyone else, I'm no exception to that. And we all go through different things, and I figured, I'm in my 30s now, so it's about time that I start, taking better care of myself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally.
That's it.
That's good.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thomas, some folks is clowning you. When Thomas said that he was definitely low key. He was a Steelers fan. Sharon Dean says you're a smart man.
You know what? Part of the healing process is ignoring some stuff. Let it roll off your back.
Let it roll. Thank you for saying that. So since we're talking about things rolling off our back and not just our favorite teams, today's focus really is about anxiety.
Yes.
How do we I'm going to use that same analogy. Johnny, how do we let things just roll off of our back, especially when it comes to anxiety during the holidays and all of that? What's your secret for letting anxiety or as soon as anxiety hits you, saying, you know what, I got to let this roll off my back? What's your secrets, Johnny?
So the main thing you got to do when it comes to anxiety is just basically process the emotion. That's the first thing. Because most of the times when we feel certain things, we kind of want to, push it under the rug and stuff like that.
Right.
But this time you can't push things under the rug, because if you keep pushing things under the rug, what's going to happen to that rug? That rug is going to rise, it's going to pile up. So this is a time where you got to process your emotion.
Right.
Just process it. The second thing we got to do as well, when we process that emotion, we got to accept the emotion. We got to say, okay, this is what we're dealing with. This is what's going on. Let me sit in my emotions. And then another thing that we have to do as well is just we got to take things at our own pace. Because even though we feel, have different emotions, most of us feel things in different ways. So my feelings is not the same way as your feelings, or the way that I deal with things is not the same way that you deal with things. So basically we have to go at our own pace when it comes to our feelings.
That's good, Johnny. That's good.
I like that.
He gave us a 3-point message like a good Baptist preacher.
Yeah,
he did. 3 points. Right. I can't remember past that. So he says first you got to process the emotion.
Process the emotion.
Yeah. Why am I feeling anxious? Is this anxiety? What is this that I'm actually feeling? Processing. That's asking the who, what, why, where, when, and how. The process. Come on, Johnny. Then he said we have to set, right? Sit in
Accept it.
it.
Accept that emotion.
Accept
That's
it.
number two.
Yes.
Accept it.
Yes.
Sit on
Accept,
it.
come on. And then he says, then you got to pace yourself.
Yep,
Pace
go at
yourself
your
at
own
your.
pace.
Come on.
That's number
Johnny.
3. Got your 3 points.
He doing some good teaching, ain't he? Any
And
time.
yes, he is. And Johnny, if I must say so, to not take away what you said, the main point is that third point.
Yes.
Do it your way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to compete with what someone else is dealing with their anxieties. Do it that's going to be the best fit for you, that you can remain consistent, you can remain in control, and you can continue to let those things roll off your back. So thank you for sharing that. That was awesome.
That
Love it.
was. Terrence, how do we let our anxieties today roll off our back, especially as we're dealing with all of this COVID craziness and crises that's going on?
Well, to kind of piggyback off of Johnny, first thing I say before that is just like, because anxiety is a problem.
Yes.
And just any other problem, in order to solve it or to resolve it, you have to first acknowledge that it exists. Because, a lot of times we get we're too uncomfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's it.
So we shy away from the things that are uncomfortable because we feel like internally it's safer to avoid it or to like to decide or repress it. When in reality, sometimes the anxiety might come from a reason, like maybe you have a project coming up,
right?
You got a date or something like that that's about to happen, and you're just kind of like your mind is going like 1,000 miles a minute.
Yes.
You just need to kind of just like slow down a second, kind of like like how Johnny said, is kind of embrace it, like sit with it,
right?
Because we spend so much time kind of like wonder about the worst case scenario, and 9 times out of 10, it never really happens the way our mind perpetuated by our anxiety, like So one of the best ways that's worked for me is one of the things is to take action. Because like anxiety, a lot of times for me, it comes from lack of action. So it's kind of like my anxiety is kind of spurring me to go into action. But first, I need to realize what action do I need to take in order to alleviate it or remedy it. And so take time to kind of contemplate, kind of processing and reflecting, like what is the cause of this?
That's good.
What evidence supports my anxiety that the worst case scenario that I mentioned is going to play out? You know what I mean? And if there is any suggesting evidence, then maybe kind of figure out a game plan on how to, tackle it before, it comes to pass. But not, like I said before, 9 times out of 10, like our anxiety is based on, something irrational or non-existent. We just think that it's limited because it's affecting us. And we like to believe that in our minds, everything we think is the truth. When that's not the case at all. It just could be like, maybe it's a deep-rooted fear. Maybe it has to do something that an experience you might have had back in the day that you're worried might, history.
Yeah.
But, a lot of times it's kind of, you just have to figure out where your anxiety is spurring from and take action to alleviate it. And if there isn't anything to do, find a way to process through it.
You're right.
Find your way.
Did you like how he put bookends to what Johnny did?
I love that.
He said, I'm going to take what Brother Johnny had, but I'm going to put some bookends on it too. So
Collaboration.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. He says, first you got to acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you are anxious. Then Johnny came and said you had to process it. And then he said you had to accept it, right? Accept it. And then we had to pace yourself. And then Brother Terrence said, then you have to take action. Come on, somebody.
Let me tell you so. Y'all are talking to us tonight, and we appreciate it. Go ahead, Terrence.
I noticed something in Johnny's background. Shout out to D9 as a whole, because I see the IOTA coat of arms in the background.
Yes.
Love it.
Okay. Y'all throwing up gang signs again.
Love it. I ain't doing none of that tonight.
You're not doing none of that?
Thomas,
I ain't doing it tonight.
Yes, do this for me.
Yes.
For our listening audience who may not have a full understanding or grasp of what anxiety is. Talk to us. Define anxiety for us so we have a better working definition of anxiety.
Got you. Anxiety comes first of all in different forms and different shapes. So anxiety can be from you sweating a lot, your heart is beating real fast, you have the sweaty palms, your breathing becomes obstructed where you breathing hard.
Right.
Anxiety can come from a traumatic event. For example, if you experience something that was a traumatic event for you, you can develop anxiety from that, which can eventually lead to, if it's not taken care of, to post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
So you got to make sure that you know and identify those warning signs.
That's
because
good.
our body shows us when we are anxious.
Yeah.
We begin to get fidgety. We are moving around a lot.
Good.
We are sweating. We're just like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And we are, how I like to say it with my clients, is that we are living on the edge a little bit.
That's it.
And when we find ourselves being on the edge, we got to get those coping strategies to bring us back home and bring us back to shore. Whether it's deep breathing, whether it's finding you a support system, whether it's being able to identify that cause that's causing us to feel anxious. Now, right now, a perfect example. We're talking about the 12 days of Christmas. We already know that if you guys have not ordered your items off of Amazon, your package is not going to be delivered by Christmas. Santa Claus ain't going to come to town. So what's going to happen? We're going to get very nervous and anxious because something that I had ordered for my best friend, my lover, my friend, my wife is not going to be here. So what am I going to do? And you begin to get so anxious about it. How am I going to get food in the house for Christmas? That's another example, because I have not been working. So a lot of the small things that we go through can be anxiety provoking.
Yes, that's so good.
To make it an even definition, is things that we endure that causes us to feel anxious and nervous about.
Yeah, most definitely. And I always say anxiety is the fear and of the things that have not yet happened.
Correct.
We're projecting into the future.
Right.
So that brings us a bunch of anxiety. And
Right.
thank you for and it doesn't even have to be real.
No.
It's perceived.
In your
Let me
mind.
say that here. It's perceived. And most of our times, the action hasn't occurred yet, so it's perceived notions. It's
Right.
perceived and anticipated things that we feel we don't have control over. Listen, I tell people, listen, control those things what you have control over, and let those things that you don't, let them go by the wayside.
Right.
In that. And I love that you gave us a lot of the symptomologies and warning signs of anxiety. And we have to be careful because anxiety, if it's too great, can feel like a heart attack.
It can.
It definitely can. I had a patient last week, and she's like, Marty, I've gone to ER 3 times. They hooked me up to an EKG, and nothing is wrong. I said, baby, you got anxiety.
Right. And breathe. Take some deep breath.
Right.
In and out.
It feels like, and people are like, I'm not sleeping well. Anxiety. My chest is heavy. Go to the doctor first, and if nothing comes back, anxiety. And a lot of us have anxiety, and we don't even know we are living with anxiety. This pandemic has, even if you don't have anxiety, you probably have some now because of the pandemic.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yep.
Everybody in the United States of America, across the board, across the sea, has had, and may have it now, anxiety.
Right.
We all do. We all do.
Right. So Johnny and Terrence, I'm gonna throw this out to you. Johnny first, what can we do to help alleviate a lot of this anxiety, especially this COVID Christmas anxiety?
Good question.
What can we do to eliminate some of this anxiety? Down here, Johnny, I'm about to call you Thomas. Johnny.
All right. So I think the main thing that we have to do when it comes to like getting through our anxiety, once we are able to understand that we had anxiety, just figure out what fits us and what we're able to work with when it comes to anxiety. So like the first thing I could think of right now is just talking to somebody.
Good.
Talk to somebody like close that you have a good relationship or a good connection with. It could be with your friends. It could be a family member. It could be a colleague that you have a good relationship with. Just talk to somebody to get get your feelings out and get your emotions out. If you feel as though that you're close people that you want to talk to are not working, then that's when you get to the point and you go to the higher level. Just go to a therapist, go to a counselor, go to a life coach, go to any mental health professional, just to be able to voice, your emotions and talk things out. Because before, like I said, if you hold things in so much, you're going to build up, and then once you build up, it's going to not hurt. It's going to hurt you physically,
Right.
emotionally, and mentally. But then also, it's going to hurt someone else, because you get to the point that you build it up so much that you might release it at the wrong person.
Right.
You're going to release it at the wrong place, and you're going to release it at the wrong time. And then you're going to turn around and regret yourself because you released that emotion at that wrong place, at that wrong time, and at that wrong person.
You're right on target, Johnny. You really are.
Isn't he on target tonight?
Oh, yes,
he
Johnny's
is very
always
chill
on
with
target.
it. He's very chill
Yeah,
with
I'm
it.
chill, I'm
He's
chill with
gonna
it.
release and stay on target.
Johnny always coming here dropping
Johnny
this like,
read it.
I just
Johnny
get
read it.
dropping gems. The thing is, that's gems that we all should know anyway. That we should practice on a daily basis anyway.
but we don't.
But we don't do it because we
don't.
don't want to acknowledge it.
You're
We don't
stealing my
want to see
thunder.
it. We don't want
That's
to
right.
see it.
Right.
Love it.
And especially, one of my patients called me today and says, you know what? He talked about his anxiety is so great, and he just went off on his family. But he says, as I was going off, I kept hearing you say, pull back, pull back, pull back. And as a result of him pulling back, acknowledging his anxiety, but then setting new boundaries with his family, the entire family said, wait a minute. You're doing something different. He says, I'm seeing a therapist. They said, well, maybe we all need to see a therapist.
Oh wow.
Because when we start putting these things in practice and we start talking to our family members and those that we love, listen, what I said earlier, failure's not an option.
Right.
And the way we're going is creating a sense of failure. So I'm breaking the cycle. Come on, somebody. And going to go in a different direction. Those who want to come with me, you're more than welcome. If not, stay behind. You know, Terrence, talk to us. Talk to us about this anxiety and what can we do to help alleviate some of this anxiety.
All right, so the best way I describe anxiety is it is a state of arousal over a false threat appearing to be real. So, when we're anxious, we enter like the state similar to fight or flight, where physiologically our heart rate like increases. Our palms might become sweaty. Our thoughts might be racing to the point where it's hard to even know where you are, acknowledge where you are at that point in time. It's kind of similar to like back in grade school when you got into a fight. Like you're just focused on trying to win and keep from getting hit as much as the other person or other people. So anxiety in and of itself is that feeling similar to that where you feel as though there is an imminent threat. Yet the only difference is there's not really any defining evidence or definitive evidence that suggests that there is an imminent threat. It only feels that way because we feel like, kind of like Marty, you mentioned something earlier about how we have this tendency to want to feel like we're in control of every single thing that we're not in control of. So when we see that some things we cannot control, we're seeing that firsthand, that exacerbates it because it makes us feel like, we should be, when in reality, only things that we're in control of is things that come from us.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes, that's good stuff there. That's good stuff there and everything. So, yeah, you're absolutely right when it comes to that health anxiety. Let's look at what a comment there that has been put up. Miss Twani says this, listen, I think everyone has a level of anxiety or anxious feelings. And she says, I only two groups I know that don't. That they're dead or psychopaths. And she goes, I've worked with psychopaths before. Listen, some days I feel like I'm working with them too. But you're absolutely there is some anxiety that is good anxiety.
That was what I was about to say.
All, not all. Talk to me, Thomas. What's the difference between those two?
I just think that when we talk about mental health and when we're talking about anxiety and worrying and stuff, some of these things are not necessarily bad.
Right.
Now, go with me. I am a licensed professional counselor. I just renewed my license, so I'm good.
All right.
There are some things that we should always be concerned about.
Yes.
We should be concerned about our physical.
Yes.
We should be concerned about our mental,
Yes.
and we should be concerned about things that we cannot control in some cases. For
Okay.
example, COVID. We should all have some anxiety
Come
around
on.
that, which means that we should not be walking out of our homes, going to nobody's public events with our face out and just talking like we did before March the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
With that comes some level of anxiety. We should have some anxiety and stress about the fact that how are my kids, parents,
Right.
learning at home doing remote learning. If you are not concerned about that and there is no level of anxiety around your child's performance, we need to talk about that. Now, I'm going to switch it up. The bad anxiety is when we allow it to control and consume us.
Right.
The bad anxiety is the imagery that we see in our head and in our thoughts that's not even really there. That's the bad anxiety. But the good anxiety to me is being sure that we are doing the best that we can do. Me being concerned about my mom for the holiday, making sure that I'm not leaving Maryland, driving to North Carolina, bringing her something that I may have and not know.
Right.
If I'm concerned about that, we should be concerned about those things. And I'm loving these comments in this chat box.
Yes,
Anxiety is good, but it can also be deadly if you don't control it.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I am clear on that.
Yes.
Anxiety is something that we all have. We all acknowledge that. But the thing is, when we have it, how are we controlling it?
And there's anxiety such as when a child goes into the street. Yes, it's going to bring me anxiety.
Yes.
And my natural reaction, hey, to get their attention or that. That's great anxiety, and it's supposed to last for the moment. You talk to the child, and then afterwards, it's supposed to pass. The challenge is too many of us are hanging on to stuff, carrying stuff. We got backpacks full of anxiety that we're carrying everywhere with us that was supposed to have been dropped off after the moment passed. And we're taking on anxiety. We're taking on too much weight that should be left in the past, but we're dragging it into our future. I know I'm talking good now.
And Marty, let's break a full circle. Bad anxiety is this to our listening audience. And we got a lot of people watching tonight, so shout out to y'all for streaming in.
We love you. We love you.
Bad anxiety is this. How many of us watch Good Times?
Yes.
And when
Penny, you need a payment.
And when Penny was in that house and that iron came on her,
baby, everybody.
That anxiety led to post-traumatic stress disorder. That's bad.
That caused us. We're like, no, not Janet. I mean, don't do it to Janet.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it. But that is so true.
Yes.
Tawani's next comment said this: anxiety can activate your attention to focus on a task and heighten cognitive acuity, and that is so true. That can make you sharpen your focus. So you say, wait a minute, I need to pay attention.
Listen,
that's good anxiety that causes you now to be more attentive on the what you're doing, to pay more attention, so that someone does not get hurt, so that you don't get hurt. And talk about, come on, let's say I got to call you. I think I got a client for you. Let's say once the stressor leaves, anxiety should also leave, but that doesn't happen. You are absolutely right. And I need you and your husband on this week too. I got to really call you. But you're absolutely right. It doesn't happen.
Right.
And sometimes we need to deprocess, unwind, de-stress with that as well.
And if I may add, Marty,
please
cognitive distractions. You got me on LPC mode tonight. Okay. Cognitively distract.
Right.
When you have these anxieties going on, find something else to think about. Focus on something else. And as you focus on something else, when you go back to your normal life, still keep moving forward. When you find yourself being stressed out and overwhelmed, you got to find something to take your mind off this situation. That is a technique.
You're right. We have a great question here by Virginia Long White. She says this, and we're going to turn to our experts here, Johnny. How do we help students with school anxiety? That is a great question. Thank you for that amazing question, Miss Virginia. So go ahead, Johnny, because you work with students all day, every day.
I work with the little ones.
Yes. I know you're seeing it. What advice do you give to the parents and even the students dealing with school anxiety?
Well, mainly with the kids first. I'll give you a story about the
Mm-hmm.
whole anxiety piece. When the aspect where in Pittsburgh they allowed the kids to come back to school, and we was able to come back to school for like only a week.
Mm-hmm.
The kids loved it. They was
Mm-hmm.
glad to come, come back because they wanted to be back in their
Sure.
safe
Sure.
haven. They was all prepared, mask up, everything. Then when they got the news like close to the end of the week saying that all right, we got to go back home. It's back to remote learning until January.
Mm-hmm.
The kids' anxiety spiked up. The kids'
Exactly.
anxiety spiked up because they wasn't expecting to say, "Oh, I thought we was gonna keep going, keep going back to school, do what we got to do, and then move from there." But then they got to go back to the home environment, go back to stresses that was happening in the home because they thought that school was the escape route. But right now, what I'm doing in terms of helping the kids with their school anxiety
Uh-huh.
is just being able to be an open ear to them and have them talk about what's going on, talk about what's on their mind, talk about or also give like ask them what coping skills do they like to do so
Good.
they can be able to take their anxiety off of things.
Mm-hmm.
I know right now when they was going back, was going home, returning back home to school and doing homeschooling, I know the anxiety was mainly about the computer. Most of
Mm-hmm.
the internet, was crashing. Most of the systems was crashing. Some kids had
Sure.
old
Sure.
laptops and everything. But then we had to tell the kids, don't worry about it. It's beyond your control.
Right.
Take
Right.
deep
Right.
breaths. Just take your time. Don't put your pressure on it because you can't control it and such. Now with the parents same thing. Whenever
Nice.
the internet is down or whatever this stuff is crashing or shut down, parents will get up in the uproar and say, F this. I'm not dealing with this no more or whatever. And sometimes we gotta tell the parents too, just
Chill.
relax, take a deep
Yeah.
breath,
Right.
calm down. Everything's gonna be all right. You got people that's in your corner to help you out and support you during this process. You're not doing it by yourself. And that's what
Right.
most of the time most people think about too. Like, oh, I'm going through this by myself.
That's
No, you're
good,
not going
Johnny.
through this by yourself. As you can see, we're all dealing with
That's
this
good,
together.
Johnny.
And
Right.
what we're doing, we're helping each other out because we all in this
Yes.
together.
Love it.
Good.
Terrence, what advice do you have? Same question from Virginia Long White with
Um,
the students.
Okay. Well, I guess like I can somewhat like kind of relate to Johnny because what I do is I'm a therapist at a residential treatment center. So
Okay.
adolescents come there
Yes.
to work on to kind of gain coping skills to better manage their
Right.
mood disorders and symptomology.
Right.
I'd say when it comes to the school anxiety and dealing with it is because the adolescents like they what I noticed they tend to internalize a lot. So one of the best ways is to kind of help like be that olive branch to them and kind of impart like some coping strategies such as practicing mindfulness techniques, deep breathing, grounding, any CBT or DBT method as well, such as perhaps the stop method or just kind of figuring out like doing a chain analysis. And also like just go with the old school method of just deep breathing and grounding because like I mentioned before, when it comes to anxiety, and Thomas actually expounded upon that very well, is that there's good anxiety and there's bad anxiety. One key factor is determining which is which, especially when it comes to students, because a lot of times
Right.
when they experience anxiety, it's usually because of something. It's usually bad anxiety. Because I haven't really heard them say that much about like when it comes to schoolwork, although it has happened, but it's usually because they have trouble focusing and just being present enough to gain that motivation to complete it. So what I try to do is kind of help them create like a chain analysis of what leads up to that anxiety and what can be done to kind of circumvent like that change so that way it doesn't become a recurring thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
All right, because I just read Virginia's comment because she said that.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
because that stuck out to me because she said I understand that, but the teachers are not taking it into consideration, which is true. Some teachers don't take it into consideration, but I know as me being the therapist in the therapeutic classroom with the kids that I work with, My team, I work with a teacher, I work with a paraprofessional. My end, if I see as though that the kids is not getting their needs met and their anxiety or any situation that they're dealing with is hindering them to their learning and to get through them to their personal lives, I let that teacher know, say, hey, he or she can't deal with this right now because they have something going on at home.
Right.
Or she can't deal with this because something's going on with their computer. She can't deal with this right now because they just going through different, stressors in their own personal lives. So it's basically what my role is. I had to let the teachers know that these are different alternatives that you can do so you can be able to manage the situation. You can't just like hang it up to dry and say, okay, this kid is going through something, forget it. This kid is not logging into the system, we just gonna fail him. We got to be able to just all of us work together, and that's why on my end, I let my teachers, I let the paraprofessionals know that all right, we got to deal with this, and let's work together to make an impact for the family and make an impact for the child. Also, if we feel as though that we need more backup, then that's when we go to the higher ups, talk to the principal, go to the school counselor, go to the district reps as well within the special ed department to say, okay, the kid is not. We tried X, Y, and Z. What can you do to help us out? What can you do to provide for us so we could be able to help that family and help that child? And the reason why I'm saying this because this year, with the kids going through the remote learning, some kids are at learning hubs. And most of the learning hubs are not really doing their particular jobs of making sure that the kids are logging into the system or the kids are not actually doing their schoolwork and stuff like that. And we was noticing it too in our classroom, like, oh, we got one kid that hasn't logged on since, August or so.
Right.
Something's up. We reach out to the parent, reach out to the family. The family say, okay, this is going on. This is what's happening. And, that's when we say, okay, we're going to come together as a team. Let's figure out what we're going to do.
Yes.
And then we take it to the higher ups, say, okay, we tried this. What do you have us? What can you do for us? We only could do so much. We already been to the learning hub ourselves and sat with the child and say, okay, this is how you do this is how you do that. We already told the workers at the learning hub, remind them and say, okay, 9:00, so has to log on at this particular time. If they log off, make sure they get back on. We already tried that. So that's what it is. We got to be able to just be on each other's backs and say, okay, this is happening. We got to do this.
I want to add something extra to that. Working in a school in a leadership position, one of the things that I would say to you, ma'am, is to make sure that you are communicating that information to your teachers. Instead of saying that the teacher is causing my child anxiety, have that conversation with your child first to figure out the why. Is it the fact that I'm on a laptop? Is it the fact that the remote learning process is too rigorous, it's too fast?
Right. Okay.
Make sure that we identify exactly what is causing the anxiety, because I will share this. I'm not dismissing what you're saying, but what I will say that the teachers that are teaching have just as much of anxiety that you guys are facing at home. And what I'm saying is that teachers have benchmarks that they still got to make. We still got to make sure that our babies are taught. We still got to make sure that we are teaching Rubik's. We still got to make sure for SPED that their individualized educational plan goals are still being met in a virtual land. That alone itself causes anxiety. And we also know that the Zoom classrooms are overpopulated. We know that. But I would just encourage you to find out from your child what anxieties that he or she is having and share that information with the teacher. Because one thing that every teacher has been taught is grace.
Yeah.
We have to extend grace to ourselves, each other, to our students, to our parents. And if that is not happening, then you go and have a different type of conversation.
Awesome. You know, I'm so glad.
Grace and patience. Grace and patience.
Yes, Virginia, thank you. Keep
Thank
the
you so
comments
much.
coming in and everything. 20, I just sent you a DM. I want you on the show. Danny, you coming on this week, so get your anxiety ready. You coming
Everybody
on. This is so much, there's so much, it's so much on the educator who is dealing with their own stuff
Right.
too. Danny, you're absolutely right with that. Danny's another amazing school counselor who works in the school setting, helping out children and everything. Virginia, you are always welcome.
Right.
And that's
And
what I
Marty,
love.
if I
Yeah.
may add this real quick to our viewing audience, because there are some great questions. When you get off this show tonight, Google CBT therapy. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy. That is the best technique to deal with anxieties because you got to break those things down into smaller parts. And the
Yes.
5 parts that you got to break it down to the situation. What is causing the anxiety? The thoughts is the second one.
Yes.
What am I thinking about? The third one is the emotions. What is causing this feeling about it? The fourth one is your physical feelings. Am I sweating? Do I have a headache? Are my chest beating fast? And the last thing is the action. What are you going to do to fix it?
Yes.
So Google cognitive behavior therapy, and I promise you,
Come on, CBT.
CBT therapy. I promise you, you will be good.
I love it. Pam puts in here one of the techniques that she does with that. She talks about having a nice having a nice long beautiful walk in a park or a trail helps my stress and anxiety. Takes
Yep.
your mind off of your problems, at least for a while. Stay off your phone. Come on, while
Yep.
you are walking, and let your mind wander. It's like meditation. I love. Thank you guys for sending out and definitely cognitive distortions as
Yes.
Danny talks about. And then we see 20 talks about my cornerstone CBT. Yes, and even Justin talks. Tunes in as well. He says, we have to understand as educators, we have to learn to be educators, counselors and coaches. That is so true.
Correct. That's
That is
correct.
so true. Says, also, is the child doing all they can, going to sleep at night, eating good foods, meals, getting exercise? Danny puts getting off the games,
Roblox,
all of those things.
Fortnite.
With that, yes. So listen, listen. I can't believe it's the hour's
Are
up
we done?
already. We are, we like to be mindful of our time because we don't want people to get tired of us. But real quick, let's start. Terrence, how can our viewers, our listening audience, get a hold of you if they have more questions about CBT, children, and everything that you do? How can they get a hold of you?
They can they can add me on Facebook, Terrence Shaheed. Same thing with my Instagram and Twitter. My email is my first name, Terrence, followed by the number 2, then my last name, Tux@yahoo.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Terrence. Come on, Johnny, how can we get a hold of you?
People could follow me on Instagram, JG the Mastermind, on LinkedIn, Johnny Gathers, MSW, and then on Facebook, Johnny RM Gathers.
Wonderful. And of all co-hosts, how you feeling? How you living?
I'm gonna get it right tonight, Daryl. I promise you, I'm gonna get it right tonight. You can follow me on YouTube at Limitless Possibilities LLC. Instagram is Limitless Outcomes. The website is limitlesspossibilitiesforyou.com. And lastly, you can email me at limitlesspossibilitiesforyou@gmail.com. Got it right, Daryl.
Gentlemen, yeah, go ahead, Terrence.
Oh, real quick answer to your question as far as
Yeah.
what I know is I keep a journal.
That's
which is
so
also
good.
a coping skill, along with a couple inspiration books that a former colleague of mine gave to me.
Love it.
Leave y'all with there's 2 inspirational quotes. The first one is "We become what we think" by Earl Nightingale, and the other one is "Don't worry about failure. You only have to be right once" by Drew Houston.
Love it. Yeah, you should go back to Love Jones where that's
Right.
I understand.
Perfect.
Everybody ready for that? Listen, as always, we want to thank you for joining us here on the Mental Health Matters with Marty show, here in our special 12 Days of Christmas special. Before we end, I want to remind you to be wise. Wise and wisdom is always important. In our wise, this is what WISE stands for. W. We want you to work through your emotions. Work through them. Johnny's been telling us that today. Accept them, acknowledge them, work through your emotions. WI stands for this. Increase your awareness of your stressors. How do we lower our anxieties? By increasing our awareness of our stressors. S stands for this. Set your priorities. When you set your priorities, it helps to lower your anxiety. And finally, E stands for evaluate or examine yourself. Self-care. That's so important. So again, we want to thank you for joining us on this edition of the 12 Days of Christmas Mental Health Style. Again, I'm Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist. I can be reached on the following platforms. I can be reached on Facebook with Mental Health Matters with Marty on my page there, and on YouTube at Martinez Sellers, pero no habla nada español, on my website at mentalhealthmarty.com, where you can find amazing merchandise if you're still looking for some Christmas items to help along your mental health journey. And then finally, you can reach me and follow me on my podcast, the podcast Mental Health Matters with Marty podcast, on your favorite podcasting streaming source. With that, please, all of you Apple iPhone listeners, please give us a 5-star rating and leave a positive review. But become an iMatter member by texting iMatter to 855-717-1272. Again, 855-717-1272. And as always, we don't want you to suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want to defy the negative stigma that surrounds mental health and mental health wellness. That's why we do what we do. Thank you, guys. Listen, love all your comments tonight. Keep them coming in. Join us tomorrow night. We're going to be on up until Christmas and even on Christmas Day, y'all, because we want to hear the joy of Christmas Day. We're going to be on every day up until Christmas at 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. Eastern time. But as always, we want you to not suffer in silence, but we want you to speak up, speak out, and live. Enjoy your best life. We'll see you tomorrow night.